A fake game made it into a world chess champion. No, not just a world chess champion. One of the greatest attacking world chess champions ever's autobiography, and turned out to be completely fake. Alexander Alekhine was the 4th world chess champion for a combined 17 years. He was so good that he's the only chess player in the world history to die a world chess champion. In his own book, his own autobiography, his prized game was apparently fake. In game 90 of his own book, Alekhine annotates a game between him and Teichmann that happened in 1911, in which Alekhine played knight a4 and his opponent responded with a6. In that game annotation, he references another game in which he played against Mr. Tenner, in which he says that his opponent played a mistake in that game in 1907 that was e takes f4. And that was a mistake because of what happened in this game. And what ensues in this game is a 100% accuracy, brilliant chess game beyond your possible imagination. Let's check it out. So Alekhine with the white pieces takes the bishop on c5, trades up, and then takes back the pawn on f4. His opponent goes knight h5, which is a mistake because of what black supposedly calculated here. Knight h5 just sways away the bishop, but once the bishop goes to e3, this is what black had anticipated. Knight e5, coming in and pressing on to this f3 square. You see, the reason why knight h5 was played is that the bishop can't go back and lean back to take up this diagonal, so has to decline to e3. And this opens up the e5 square for this knight to go to e5 and pressure this weak knight on f3. Now, this game is fantastic because he simply doesn't care about knight e5. Alekhine plays instead knight takes e5. Brilliant move played on the board. Absolute fire. And here you are taking a knight and sacrificing your queen willingly. So what are you gonna do? In this position, the black pieces took the queen, and now he ensues with bishop takes f7, checking the king and forcing a multiple number of events. This is where it gets really crazy, buckle up. In the game, his opponent went king e7, but what if his opponent goes king f8? Here the king is in a mating net after bishop takes c5 check. And now this forces one of two blocks, queen e7 or queen d6, otherwise it's checkmate. And here, okay, the best one is maybe queen d6, and after bishop takes, c takes, this is all forced. Now white has castles. And castles, okay, you can take this knight, but now I have discovered check with this rook on the king while taking a knight and attacking this bishop a third time. King must move, and then we take this bishop with a full piece up. So okay, the reference in the game was king e7, and now Alekhine still ensues with this beautiful bishop takes c5, checking the king, and again, it smells like mate. The king cannot go back, king cannot go back, king cannot go out west, so the king must go down south. King f6. Attacking this knight, and also has an exit square of going to g5. Now I'm not saying the king does go to g5, but in the game, Alekhine plays a fantastic move. Some people dream of this move. He goes with castles, check on the king. Absolutely insulting. And here the king must go to g5 or to e5. In the game, he took on e5, but let's look at king g5 first. Here there's a brilliant move. I thought it was going to be like rook f5, but then after king h6, the king is actually quite safe. You don't have takes because I would just take your rook, and now the black pieces is winning. So here white has bishop e3, going backwards with the bishop. Check, and now this takes up that really annoying h6 square that I wanted to cover up before but couldn't. And now that check pierces through. And so the king has to move down forward again. Now before committing to going down south with king h4, there's also the block knight f4, and this is perhaps even prettier. White has the perfect patient move, rook takes f4, not even checking the king, but threatening a discovered check onto this king with the bishop once this rook moves. And so, okay, black can do anything here, nothing works. let's say c5, let's say a5, it would be the same reply, rook f8. Here, white has the irrefutable checkmate in 2. Rook f5 discovered double check on the king. King cannot go back because of this life-saving bishop, so the king must go forward to h4. And now the calm and patient, almost like a wise move from a savant. Bishop f2, checkmate. It looks like a normal position, but it's just there's the king here that just mated, brev. In the gulag, look at that. So the other option in this variation is also just like a mate in 6. The king goes to h4, it's way too advanced in the position, and then we just force mate a couple moves, like so, with a beautiful knight f3, and I mean, this king is getting assaulted by 4 pieces. Insanity. But what happened in this game, right, was actually king takes e5, and this just leads to a simple mate with rook f5 check. Now in the annotations, and let me just tell you, I own this book, I own the 8th edition, so I sprinted to my library, picked up this book, and looked into it, and went to game 90, and sure enough, in those notes, not only does he reference this game against Tenner, but he also says that Tenner was an amateur player, when in fact, Tenner immigrated to the States and became one of the best US chess players at the time, which was kind of a lie if you ask me. By the way, here's proof of that on page 40 of my edition of this book. It carried over all 8 editions in this book, this fake game. Sure enough, Mr. Tenner came out and said outright that this game never happened. In fact, when this game was supposedly played in 1907, Tenner didn't even know Alekhine. He had never met him in his life. And this is backed up by Arnold Denker, another famous American chess player that was very prominent in the 40s, I would want to say. But anyways, that's how a fake game made it into a world chess champion. No, not just a world chess champion, one of the greatest attacking world chess champions ever's autobiography, and turned out to be completely fake.